So the main city of Johannesburg, the main part of the city, everyone calls it Josie. So like we have, there's two areas in the mission that are Josie Central. So that's like right in the city where all the tall buildings are, kind of what you would think of as a city in the U.S. And Josie Central is crazy. As you would imagine, a lot of crime happens in the city, typical to big cities in other countries. And then kind of around the main city, you have the towns, which are the wealthier areas. Mostly white people are living there, and then black people have moved into those town areas. And then then you get about 5-10 miles outside of those towns and you have the townships. And so when you say Johannesburg, that encompasses Josie Central, all the towns around Johannesburg, and then the townships surrounding Johannesburg. So that's kind of the area of Johannesburg. So in the city and the town areas, typical like white collar jobs, big companies and whatnot. And then you have kind of black people from the townships coming into town during the day to do jobs in those areas, and to also that's where they come to get groceries and do their shopping as well for the main part. But even in the townships they have shopping as well, and that's developed more in recent years. Townships are becoming more developed, and nicer areas in general. So that's kind of Johannesburg, the area. Everyone calls it Joburg. So you refer to Johannesburg as Joburg, and then kind of the city as Josie. And traffic is crazy. So around Johannesburg, there's like a big kind of interstate or freeway. It's a circle around Johannesburg. And driving in South Africa is way different. You're driving on the other side of the road than the U.S. And you have taxis everywhere, packed with people, and coming from the townships into town and then going to the townships. So that's kind of how the city is. So as far as the weather goes, in Johannesburg, they have a wet and a dry season, and this is typical kind of to the whole mission. It gets very cold during the winter, so that would be like from April to August. It gets cold and it's dry, so it doesn't rain very much. And then you have the wet season, which is more kind of in the November to February time period, and it rains a lot, huge storms that I had never experienced previous to my mission, and it's warmer during that time. And then throughout the mission, you kind of have more tropical areas, and warmer areas, and then kind of colder areas as well. So as far as where the missionaries stay in the mission, we don't have missionaries staying in the townships. So all the missionaries are in towns. So very nice living conditions, usually nice apartments. And then every day, most of the missionaries actually have a car. So every day you are taking a car out to your area if you're in a township. If you're in town, then you kind of just stay in the town for the missionary work. So living conditions are nice. Once you get into other parts of the mission, especially village areas, you might actually be living in a village, have a house in a village. Still good living conditions in general. And yeah, transportation. Most missionaries have cars. A lot of times you'll be sharing a car between 4 missionaries. So you'll all go out to the area, but 2 missionaries will be on bikes during the day. And then you'll come back at night. And that's generally how transportation works for missionaries. As you would imagine, town areas, the people living there have good transportation. Most of them have cars. Once you get to the townships, a lot of people don't have cars, so they're walking everywhere. A lot of people on the streets. They're taking these taxis that they just pack people into. They're taking those taxis around the township and into town if they work in town. So that's kind of the transportation and living conditions. As well in townships, as far as living conditions for the people there, not as nice as towns, but you still have a variety of areas within townships. So you have kind of nicer areas, and then you have the areas where very small homes, humble homes that people live in, and then you get also shacks, so large areas of just shacks. Some townships are mostly shacks in the mission. Very humble living conditions. People sometimes don't have running water, and yeah, that's how townships are, and you'll even get areas of shacks within towns as well.